I'm sure by now, if you're in the spiritual community or just active on social media these days, you've heard the word embodiment. By definition, to embody something, you be an expression of, or give tangible or visible form to an idea, quality, or feeling. In layman's terms for this subject, every atom of your being vibrates in the way of what you are embodying. Just as a note expresses that in a singularity in its entirety, embodiment is to express something in its entirety. Just like when we are manifesting, we are constantly doing so, and we are constantly embodying something. Just look at yourself. You currently have to embody something to be a mix of energy, and to be alive, and to be watching this. The DNA structure, which we have previously talked about on our episode Genetic DNA Consciousness, is all about how our beliefs, experiences, and thoughts, which are ingrained into our DNA, pass off to our future offspring. Simply put, your DNA tells your physical body what to embody. But wait, vibration is truly the determining factor of what makes up your DNA, aka what your information holders hold and what they perceive. With that, I want you all to make a note before we go any further. Your DNA cannot, I repeat, cannot, show you something or be something that is not already thought of or vibrationally present. This includes what we can call God or Source, and also consequently our DNA cannot represent something we do not have vibrationally. To not embody something will create the lack of that thing. Realistically, we can never separate ourselves from anything as we have God DNA. The vibration of inherent unity. Some would call this the void, and others the quantum blueprint. That is which beneath us all. But regardless, we can perceive with more of our lens that is out of alignment and in the vibration of perceived separation, the opposite of true oneness consciousness. God DNA is the embodiment of everything, meaning the vibration of all imaginable. Whatever you thought of, that too is in God DNA. It is abundance and life in pure form. It knows and is death, is rebirth, the in-between, and beyond. Looking to where we got into today genetic terms, we have a lot of DNA which holds separation consciousness, the vibration of fear, lack, guilt, worry, depression, all what we have chosen one way or another, subconsciously or consciously, but we chose the opposite of eternal oneness. And why we got here? Highly debated, not for today's topic. But rather, today's topic, I would like you to recognize the DNA which holds very important information right before us. We can't change another's free will, the existence of something, or force another thing to happen. But rather, we have the power of vibration. Vibration is the core resonating frequency holding your true beliefs, expression, everything. You change the quantum field of infinite time throughout consciousness and expression of vibration. So no wonder what the question of what does our DNA currently hold lead us on a path of enormous universal conscious expansion, all by seeing what is and what is not. In other words, we explore what is harmonious to the Most High and what is not harmonious to be physically played out. Now, I'm glad you're still with me if you've made it this far, as the current language we use to communicate expressing this foreign topic can be tough. It's limiting, I get it, but I will always do my best and the best of my ability with the most clarity possible. With that being said, everything is a fractal of consciousness being projected from the Most High down, each also having free will of their own, the choice of vibrational choosing. Recall the God DNA I previously spoke of. This you can think of as a seed of pure creation, where creation sparked. Its pure form allowing us to not only know where we come from, but where we are in truly every moment. This DNA too has free will of its own, meaning its original intention cannot be overridden. Instead, it's like a beacon of light, or a compass which guides us back home when we explore the dark depths of the unconscious. We may have gotten lost on the way, picking up beliefs and ideas which do not come from the perspective of full consciousness, but through that, we have learned what it looks like to not include someone or something, to not include another in our thoughts. The choice is depicted in various religious and spiritual texts. The choice to love, to take another in as yourself, or the choice of separation, disresonance, and chaos. I believe whatever side is chosen, that consciousness will learn something very valuable inevitably. To choose separation, you smear your lens so hard to disconnect from the universal consciousness which is. I do not agree with those who say this is inherently bad or good. Instead, from an objective, universal standpoint, I believe it does great use for all parties to learn the most out of each conscious experience. To fully grasp embodiment, you have to. And so let's tie in what we've all talked about on this topic. Choice, vibration, creation. CVC. Choice, the infinite possibilities which are acceptable and accessible in source. Everything. Vibration, the exact frequency of what we're actually aiming for, the attuned station to your choice. And the third component, the creation of choice in correlation to your current vibration. Whatever is chosen from this place will create a physical form to reflect your vibration, your vibrational choice, which is why it is so important to choose with conscious intention and not from a mindless, subconscious place which only goes off of past memories and beliefs. For more understanding, let us use an example of someone holding lots of trauma. This person, Dave, struggles to this day with, let's say, flashbacks of persistent traumatic memories, lives in constant fear, and is quite depressed with his life. This person would be a prime example of someone embodying lack consciousness, also known as separation or negativity, which was either consciously or subconsciously chosen as his truth. This truth for Dave, regardless of what it is specifically, it will not feel good as it comes from a place of trauma. Trauma itself being something that was distressing and unresolved. In this, the act of suppression was done. A belief at a mental level, believing that suppressing his needs was the best for his well-being. Dave did not believe that there was a way to bring resolution, and so the best option was to forget. Subconsciously or consciously, this was chosen. Often, this sort of thing is done during childhood, a subconscious tactic done in order to keep the body's well-being alive and well. Now, Dave's needs can be a number of things, including companionship, acceptance, vulnerability, and perhaps connection. Maybe all the above. Realistically, all the above. But most of all, Dave's consciousness is craving conscious attention. The flashback scream, "Look at me, experience me. This doesn't feel good. Something isn't right. I'm alone. I don't want to be alone." The negative feelings all reflect an unclear view of reality. What Dave doesn't realize is everything that doesn't feel good is a call to understand why, and how to go about shifting his inner world in order to feel good again. Now, to clarify, this isn't to express a suppression more so, or change what feels bad, but rather we do this for a much different reason. What we call good and bad are simply reflections of our beliefs. to use them to our advantage and to use them what they're meant for, we can observe something if it is out of alignment or in alignment, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. If it's discomforting, why? When we become aware of the conscious alignment and where it is, we can shift it into an expression that no longer reflects the part that we believed and perceived was missing. Rather, we can bring conscious attention, that which was missing, to bring unity and a positive shift within the being. Dave's inner being does not see the full picture, and so by pushing down all the traumatic memories and feelings of the past, of this and of this current moment, it thinks it's saving itself from more pain. Ironically, what it does not know is by doing this, it actually carves more DNA and more DNA from the beliefs you tell yourself. And more so, it will manifest not only internally, but externally out of your world, out of Dave's world. The physical reflection is nothing more than a reflection of our vibrations present. So, unfortunately for Dave, everything he's attempting to run from is multiplying at every turn of the head. This DNA, or what I should really call it base level, is vibration, craves Dave's conscious attention. And so it carves suppression and more into its vibration, yet it cannot deny that which it suppresses, the suppressed need for conscious attention. That which does not feel good says something about our beliefs on the subject. This vibration is not asking anyone to forget or rewrite their past with lies or sugarcoating, but rather to see the full truth, not just one side. It hurts as it believes it's not allowed to have its true needs met. Only from a place of full consciousness can it and does it know that it will and is getting its needs met in every moment, then and now. And even when it had physically not been, perceiving nothing but lack and only getting that reflection, both can be inherently true from a place of understanding. And from this place of peace, the pain transmutes. We are no longer viewing that painful memory with the lens of agony, rather the appreciation for the lessons it's taught us. The understanding of the vibrational play which has been experienced and lived throughout many centuries, and now firsthand. If Dave were to choose not to become aware of what beliefs he has towards his past and therefore his present and future, the DNA within will be affirmed and passed down to the offspring for them to complete the act of becoming conscious of the separational lens held in the quantum and heal it back into resonance, which will reflect a new DNA, a new state of embodiment, choice, vibration, creation, CVC. Acceptance of what we always have been is the first step towards universal healing, and funnily enough, it starts within self. Seeing the infinite polarities of Source, the infinites, the lack and the abundance, and the ever so prominent choice of what to embody. In another example, we can see a parent who embodies or is the choice of unconditionality. No conditions needed and no reasons not to love. This coming from a place of oneness and understanding. All has its right to exist. Now let's not mix this up with tolerance, which comes from a place of belief that there is no accessible option to create positivity or something better. That is lack and that is settling. For this parent who has a unified DNA structure for the most part, they have coding messages in their entire body telling them to act compassionately, weaving the best interest of all parties involved. Effortlessly, may I add. We can see the DNA structures are key component to today's topic. And we begin to expand our conception of what it means to be something, or what we've been hearing recently on embodiment. A person can say they love someone or show they care for them, But in circumstance of what they're truly doing comes down to their vibration, their intention. Many times it's the opposite of what they show on the exterior, maybe even consciously thought, and only our intentions felt truly within. Through people's impure intentions, which inherently come from the subconscious in places with lack of light in the psyche, what comes about is manipulative. Why? In any given scenario, including the prior examples given, people end up using backdoor methods to get their needs met. People, these, who believe consciously or subconsciously, maybe both, that they cannot get their needs met, either at all or directly. This causes the need to be pushed to the subconscious from here. The body will act accordingly to get its needs met, however it sees fit, and how it sees it can from the past understanding of what it's observed. Note, needs will never disappear. They can't. And only when we have consciousness to it can it transmute shape depending on the circumstance. So, if we have the subconscious, right, to make the decision, the subconscious making the decision for us now instead of our conscious intention of what we think, we now have our subconscious holding the steering wheel and the gas pedal. And for instance, in the previous example of a person whose conscious intention was to show another person that they cared or loved about them, if the reality was looked at, this person was only showing their affection to get their subconscious needs of approval met. It's really another hidden motive of, let's say, ridding oneself of guilt. And it's only from looking at the subconscious that they were just trying to get their needs met, which meant that what they were embodying was not love, but rather deception and further separation. The opposite of love, love being to take another in as oneself, even at face value, even if they were intending to bring unity and closeness with another individual, their subconscious was completely different. And so, being mindful of what we are actually doing allows us to be 100% honest with ourselves and those around us, to be authentic. Are we doing something from a place of curiosity? Or are we doing it from a place of fear, of suppression, love, or separation? And if it's from a separated conscious standpoint, they have disconnected themselves from source consciousness. The consciousness of unity and all that is. While it's true that we experience the physical expression of separation, different colors, animals, everything, but we are all very much connected by the same means. And in today's topic, I do not mean separation in its light form, such as seeing red and deciphering it from blue. This is discernment. No. I mean, rather when red doesn't see blue at all, or has denied its existence. Better yet, if red and orange denied another, as if they were not quite literally the base lines making up another. Again, language does no justice to explaining the eternal oneness which is spoken of throughout the years. Yet understand this is not just one point, but rather the accumulation of every and all. It takes into account all of itself, all parts as itself. Just as your organs are all a part of you, you must take good care of what you call your body to make sure you, the collective, gets its needs met in a function which is harmonious. When something perceives separation, the consciousness is not seeing the full perspective, but rather one angle of a complex shape with many dimensions. Separation is not inherently wrong, nor is it inherently correct. Rather, the dimensional consciousness which you choose to perceive it from. And so, in the prior examples, each consciousness chose two separate paths, but both pass along DNA in their choice. Regardless, their cells begin to affirm and code down information with every thought, action, and belief. whatever is going on within this thing's psyche and consciousness. To have the embodiment of something you want, you must first begin your path on becoming conscious of your unconscious self. The subconscious holds many beliefs, and when I say your subconscious, I do not just mean a part of your mind. Rather, all that makes up your being, atoms and DNA, molecules, and everything that holds information that is not a part of your current consciousness, your awareness. It then is your choice to become conscious of them or not, to take them in as yourself or not. And if you're looking to become happy, at peace, successful in life, and I don't mean externally, rather an internal success which illuminates and reflects that internal being, you must become conscious. You already are one, so you don't have to try so hard to get anywhere else. Rather, just remind the parts of yourself which are not caught up to the full picture, the things that they are missing, to bring them back into unity consciousness. Funnily enough, this is done just by giving your conscious attention to them, to it, unconditionally. So no, you can't be separated from the desires you have, as they are inherently you, within you, waiting to be discovered and allowed to be written over more of your being, to be to be embodied entirely in unity. Now, time to delve real deep for a second. Given you made it this far, you've most likely heard it about cellular light codes, upgrades, and transitioning only your consciousness, not only your consciousness, but your physical into the 5th dimension. A briefing on dimensions for those confused. Past the 3rd dimension, we have the 4th, and then the 5th, numbers, which allow encompassing of a wholeness. 5th is where we transition from polarities to something beyond, a one-point perspective to an all perspective, or separation to unity. So through the higher vibrational dimensions, it only gets higher vibrationally as you go, vice versa, meaning lower vibrations in the denser 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. This means light codes or cellular upgrades which come from higher realms need to be processed and can only come into contact with consciousness in similar vibration. Think of a radio station. You can't listen to 104.1 if you are tapped into 101.3. Also, why many who receive high vibrational revelations, or what are perceived as such, are either unobtainable for long amounts of time to sustain, or it takes a decent amount of time before understanding and embodying what was given long ago. In both of these, the individual consciousness which received such high revelations and high vibrations had to work through the lower vibrations of the consciousness which was already present within the DNA prior to receiving the gift or wisdom, the higher vibration. This high vibration is simply incompatible with the lower, denser energies present. But through alchemy of energy, the being will be able to integrate that which had been in resistance, recoding the rest of the DNA to match the light codes and higher vibrations which they tap back into. And into our last topic, let's talk about disresonant chaotic energy, which very much exists within the collective source. It is to be remembered that it's not our job to force change at all. If it exists, it wishes to be consciously experienced. That's it. Remember that fact. So instead, we are to become compassionately aware of that which is out of resonance, or in other words, out of harmony. Through our conscious compassionate intention, does change naturally occur. There is no forcing that needs to be done. Instead, we try to understand what is not working and why it got there in the first place. With love, understanding, and faith, we can see all parts along us are learning alongside us. It is not tolerance or encouragement where we get the most conscious spiritual growth. but rather when we give something the space to express itself fully, in its entirety, can it learn who it ever was or wanted to be in the first place. Disresonance cannot last in longevity. Due to our universal search for harmony, even the disresonance teaches how to come into harmony. Instead of keeping what we call not in harmony, consciousness learns from it and transmutes that vibration into one more accommodating for both the individuated self that they experience, as well as that which is inherently connected to that larger whole. All which is born out of anything but harmonious source God frequency will be unable to last in manifestation of that which is God. This is where the concept of the devil or the adversary actually glorifying, quote unquote, God came in. In other words, this opposing force of resonance allowed God's source to further its journey in which it always was and has been completing, becoming conscious and integrating what is its very essence. The energy of non-harmonious living must transmute, as it's not sustainable on its own. It needs life force energy, and the essence in and of itself is source, which is harmony. And for a being like us, manifested of energy, source energy, we have the choice of embodying whatever vibration we may choose. So for all of you wishing to get somewhere, recognize you are already there and you have completed your mission. Your vibration is your GPS destination. So set it right to ensure you're headed in the direction you want to go. The steps to get to each direction shift depending on your chosen place. So set it well. Remember, CVC. Choice, vibration, creation. Your choice is consciousness. Now, I want to make a final note to everyone ready to be proactive in their choice. That is to be made clear. You cannot chase after one thing without inherently leaving another. So integrating the beliefs that you are separate from whatever it is you desire must occur, and what you don't desire, quote unquote. Those thoughts ceasing as it's no longer about becoming anything else. You need not anything else, as you are already in the state of unity with it. You are it. And only from this place can we experience life in abundance, happiness, joy. The chase of a perpetual cycle has finally come to an end. So now, do we choose to accept and love all that is present, knowing that it's not all? The choice to lovingly recode for a collective goal? Or do we hopelessly, and without the belief that you could change anything, or get anything positive out of a conscious effort, you hunker down and dig a pit of what is already there? With either choice you make, you should be aware that they will both result in enormous healing. Although one will be chosen out of the conscious mind to heal, and the other subconsciously, it's a choice to heal. I do not agree nor preach for others that either path is for the one for them to take. Rather, these paths exist because there is a consciousness still wishing to experience both. And so, the greater part of God will learn through both. So may we give everyone the peace, and the space, and the respect to make the decision they feel most called to do. From there, everyone falls into their rightful place in consciousness, for it will all conclude in love.